Speaking in Parliament, at the Finance Committee, SARS Commissioner R800 says that the Revenue Service needs 800 million rand to operate efficiently again. Kisvetter cited that up to 800 critical vacancies in the organization need to be filled. Joining me now to unpack this is tax attorney at Tax Consulting South Africa, Jashwin Baijoo. Jashwin, good evening and thank you for joining us on the Newsfeed late night today. How critical are these 800 posts that need to be filled?
Good evening, Tabo. Look, with regards to these 800 posts, from our experience, and especially over the last 3 to 6 months, it's extremely critical that these posts be filled as soon as possible. We have matters that what would generally take a month to 2 months is now taking 6, 8, maybe even up to a year. And this is solely on the basis that SARS are currently short-staffed. And more so than that is that they're short-staffed on basically employees who are skilled in what they do. And the problem that they're having, and this is a problem that has started about some 15 years ago, was that their highly skilled employees were actually either leaving government for the private sector or they were moving abroad. And this is because of the demand of skills all over the world with regards to collection of revenue and all financial aspects. And one that we've particularly noticed where there's a great shortage of evaluators, for example, is in SARS's VAT division. And they've got, fair enough, they've got trainee evaluators, they've got junior evaluators, but all of their skilled senior staff members have left. And these junior staff, as much as they may be competent, they don't have the authority nor the experience to give us concrete outcomes on certain matters.
Yeah. Now, with the junior staff, with the little experience that they have, and of course high degree of competence, SARS has managed to, for example, refund 13.4 billion rands to about 1.24 million of taxpayers in record time during this time of COVID-19, which tells you that there is some degree of capacity there. How have they managed to operate even with the short staff?
Now, Tabo, you see, this is more with regards to the auto assessments. So, in most instances, taxpayers below a certain threshold, SARS does their auto assessment for them. And in essence, to complete that auto assessment, you go through it, you check your details are correct. If there's any further details that need to be added, such as medical aid details or the uploading of any certificates, be it an RA or medical certificates for medical tax credits, it's a very simple process. And that is entirely run by the system. So with regards to that, those auto assessments, in most cases, you read through it, you confirm your particulars are correct, and you simply click submit. However, on the flip side, with regards to refunds, and in particular VAT refunds, we've noticed that a lot of corporates who are due refunds from SARS are having a hell of a time getting it out of SARS. And this is because based on the massive deficits in the fiscus as currently stands, SARS is, in essence, trying to keep every single cent, whether it be a refund or whether it be something that needs to be collected on. I mean, Tabo, 2 weeks ago, I had a client come to me with a final demand from SARS for 5,300 rands. Oh. And at this stage, whatever it may be, whatever the collection measure, SARS is trying to take it in order to recover some sort of funds in order to fund the deficit to the fiscus. Yeah. But with the refunds, yes, your individual taxpayers generally not very problematic. As long as your tax affairs are in order, that auto assessment is highly effective, and we do commend SARS on this. Yeah. But with regards to your more complex matters and where larger refunds are due, we have noticed that taxpayers are having quite a difficult time getting this from SARS.
Yeah. So now, SARS, as you mentioned, rightfully so, also made a commitment to conclude 7 out of every 10 audits when these are required within 30 days. Is SARS not setting itself up to fail there? Are those targets realistic?
Look, my personal thought with regards to the audits and verification process, and we have seen this through experience with our clients, is that if the taxpayer is able to provide all substantiating documents, all substantiating information within a reasonable time frame, SARS are able to conclude these audits reasonably quickly. However, 7 out of 10 at a 70% rate for all of your orders to be completed within 30 days. Look, I have to agree with you. I do feel that this may be overpromising, but I guess only time will tell.
Now, Jashwin, we're dealing with a situation now where 2 million more people who otherwise would have been working and possibly paying tax are now out of work because of COVID-19, which means that tax base has shrunk even more than what it was. Where is 800 million going to come from?
Look, Tabo, as much as we're currently sitting at 2 million less, and predictions are looking at November being another round of retrenchments, with companies that thought they would obviously be sustainable and manage to pull through this, realizing that 2 months, 3 months into full operations, that they're genuinely unable to stay afloat. But just to answer your question, that's 800 million deficit. SARS has currently upped their collection powers, and they are collecting funds from taxpayers with tax liabilities by any means necessary. And this goes right from, as I mentioned earlier, a final demand for 5,300, something which was previously unheard of from SARS. They wouldn't even waste their time with anything less than, I would say, 100,000. But they're literally trying to claw together each and every cent. And with their collection measures, they've really upped their game in terms of final demands and immediate follow-throughs with action being taken. Taxpayers don't act on those final demands. They ignore it, as would previously be the case. Previously, you get another one a few months later. Now SARS are going straight to a written statement, taking it to court, getting it certified as a judgment, and they immediately commence with a third-party attachment. And the next thing you know, the taxpayer is missing 50,000, 100,000 from their bank account, and they think there's fraud going on or it's been unlawfully obtained. However, that final demand, that's literally SARS telling you, look, you owe us X amount. If you don't act within 10 days, we're going to come after you. And them then proceeding to attach funds from a bank account is, it's actually provided for in that notice, because that's one of their collection measures.
Now, Jashwin, of course, much of the decline comes after businesses shut down during the strict lockdown between April and June to curb the spread of COVID-19. Does this indicate that this country can't afford another complete lockdown?
Look, statistically speaking and economically speaking, this country, the first lockdown was barely sustainable, and the economy's taken a hammering over the course of that. And in all honesty, prior to the lockdown, our economy was not in the greatest of positions. It was not in a position of strength. And the lockdown shattered whatever progress was being made or may have been made. And honestly speaking, a second lockdown would devastate the economy. Your unemployment rate would probably shoot to about 70 or 80%. With the second lockdown, you must keep in mind that majority of your small to medium enterprises will close. Your liquor sales, your tobacco sales will all be shut again. Restaurants will be closed. And as much as, yes, during the first lockdown, there was a loss of revenue, massive revenue from sin tax for the fiscus. But there was also a loss of revenue in the sense that a lot of items such as alcohol and cigarettes were in fact available on the black market. And I think that the Coronavirus Council will actually consider all of these implications when thinking about a second lockdown. But that being said, as much as a second lockdown may be on the cards, we don't foresee it anytime soon. And this is because the greatest spread of the virus is actually in colder climates. And with us currently in spring and soon to enter summer, the virus will be curbed just on the climate itself.
Yeah. All right, Jashwin, appreciate your time. Thank you very much for joining us. Tax attorney at Tax Consulting South Africa, there, Jashwin Baijoo.